Ngiyanilotshisa bengiyanamukela godo ibizo nguye usombalo imbongi wakwaDlambili. Namhlanje sike njengoba sazi ngebanga le-COVID-19 yona i-coronavirus bulala inchaba ngenchaba zonke. Sikhuluma namhlanje no Do Huu Truong ovela khona enarheni lapha ye-Vietnam omumuntu obereka nabantu abatsha enarheni leyo e-Vietnam. So ngizomlotshisa yena uDo Huu Truong. Do Huu, thank you for joining me today. How are you?
Yeah, pretty good actually.
Yes, wonderful. Tell me, I want us to start first here. You are a Vietnamese, which you are just next to Bangkok, to Thailand, and which is also another neighbor to China. Tell me, as a young person, as a young activist, how has this affected the people in Vietnam so far? Just in few words.
So yeah, in fact, when there was an infection, when there was an announcement, I mean, people still wandering around in my country. So the really task was respond from the government side, because actually they were meant to be dealing with those things. So that was not a job for citizens, but they did handle all the tasks pretty well. As you can see, the infection rate in my country has been quite low from the outbreak. Yeah, but still, we still fighting a way to handle it.
You live in a country whereby I would say so big, a very dense country. There are 97,338,578 population as per today we speak now. Such a dense population. How do you explain that? Such a very dense population, very big, large population, but has only 270 confirmed cases, 225 recovered cases, and no deaths, no fatalities. How do you explain that? I mean, how do you explain that in a country that doesn't have so much of good health system and doesn't have enough budget for health? How did you fight it as a country?
Yeah, first of all, is quite clear for your announcement that we have nearly 100 million Vietnamese in our country, and that doesn't count Vietnamese citizens working and studying abroad, because they went back to our country as well. So actually, it's keep rising up. The thing is, I mentioned before, the government took the start pretty much serious, and they handled it from last year, from December. So actually, they took a move very early, like earlier than those developed countries. They can actually, the government care for citizens. Of course, we are a very cool country. They try to care for our citizens.
Yes, no,
but
yes.
Yeah, and yeah, they don't have really a lot of budget, so they plan first. So actually, they have the control over the government system, so they can control the whole country. So whenever there's a move, they figure out in a couple of hours. So they're really good in terms of tracking people, where did they go in the last few weeks. So they can quarantine the whole community where the infected case was founded. So they just isolate the whole community.
So we must say the disaster relief or the rescue strategy for the country of Vietnam is quite beautiful. Now, let me say this. This is a country, and you are right when you say the government is really doing well, because I've been looking at Vietnam between 2002 and 2018, the high improvement of quality life in Vietnam. And also I'm realizing that the real GDP has grown between those years, grew at 7.1%, and the GDP per capita doubled. What happened? The political system of Vietnam, is it a party political system, or is it more of a liberal system? how is it? How do you work around? How do you elect government that your government is so accountable to its people?
Well, I would say they change. They are not really the government as we have known before, because actually they had to catch up with the whole world. So basically, those businesses are encouraged to grow. Actually, if you have a chance to visit the south of Vietnam, you see there's a city called Saigon. Also, you can call it Ho Chi Minh City, which is I think the most developed city in Vietnam. And yeah, all businesses and also entrepreneurs are quite encouraged in our country, and they trying to push the whole country moving up, and also healthcare system, like as we all heard that they're working quite hard, and yeah, they actually found the the cure for those coronavirus patient, and they developed the they told that there's a cue, like a map, like how they have done it to the previous one, and they try to apply for those patients. Yeah, if you watch the news recently, you would notice that there's a very serious case in my country from England. There's a pilot has a very serious health condition because of the corona, and he's being treated in the hospital with tons of doctor and nurses. So they really put labor and all stuff in one patient. So they really care about that.
About the people. And now I understand they really care about the people, but there's a surprising element here. China being a neighbor, being just a neighbor in Asia, and Vietnam has these cases. You have a very dense also city in New York, which is very dense, and there are many fatalities in New York, in the whole of US, the New York itself. There's a lot of dense, there's urban density, would say, and there are many fatalities. For example, South Africa is quite far away from China, but already, as confirmed today, there are 79 death cases. What do you think we as the other countries might have done wrong compared to Vietnam?
Yeah, I would say first of all, I talk about the healthcare system, and also I would like to talk more in terms of a political string. So we also dictatorship. I must say like that. So everything the government do, they just do it right away. So there's no time for voting. Okay, I want to isolate the whole community. I just isolated the whole community. No one can vote that. And yeah, because of that, they just locked down the whole community for good.
Wow. I see here they said the biggest lockdown happened on the 1st of February. And I also saw that hence we've said that between 2002 and 2018, with that little bit of dictatorship, 45 million people have been able to be taken out of poverty in Denmark. But how has this affected business, imports and exports, international business, and business by you as young people? How has this affected your business in terms of the country, and these young people who happen to be running, developing, small, medium business enterprises?
Yeah, I would say because they're trying to put more effort in businesses, and yeah, because I would say the GDP more likely than not a real figure, because because actually we are not really a capitalism country, so so the competition is not quite pressure in my country. So just only some businesses, and if you can figure out a way into those businesses, you'll be lifted up from poverty.
I understand. What is it that you think that developing countries, just as like Vietnam, and we know Vietnam is in Asia, and many people think that if you are very close to China, you might have been, a very, well-run country. Number one, the economy must be the best and all of that, and which is not true. We know the Vietnam is still a developing country and all of that. What is it that you think that other developing countries, mostly in Africa, you said, how do you think they can assist in flattening the curve? Because already we do have the government systems, which you cannot change now. But what is it that you think these systems can bring into flattening the curve in Africa and the rest of the world?
Yeah, say because actually we are a zone party, so actually they can take any move anytime they want without any crisis, and there's no freedom of press inside my country. So there's no crisis. They just do whatever they think will be benefit for the whole country, and yes, it's benefit as well. But you need to make a very strong move, and like because press will give people resident all around the country more likely have those argument, and that would not speed up the whole process. So you know the United States, they are free country, so it took them a lot of time to actually declare an emergency.
And for a country like yours, I mean, in a country where it's very close to the sea, something like that. And as we speak right now, the weather in Vietnam speaking right now is 20 degrees Celsius at this particular point in time. Can you tell us, how do you think is the truth between the link of the weather of a place compared to the spread of coronavirus? Because they said if you find yourself in hotter places, then there won't be spread. But you are not as a hot place as it is, because in South Africa it's 22 degrees Celsius. In Vietnam it's 20 degrees Celsius. What do you think that is really true? I know you are not an expert in health, but what is your thought on that? What has been the take in Vietnam regarding on weather and the spread of the virus?
Okay. So the thing is there's very just a few of the regions in Vietnam has that lower degree, and yet those are not the big city, and people will be more gathered in a big city, and those big city has higher degree. I would say the lower degree will be on the north of my country. The south of my country is pretty hot, and there was just little, rainy before, and that was so hot, and the news that people saying that the temperature has some relationship with the coronavirus. Well, that's still a myth. well, yeah, because people saying that the really contagious disease in this area, just a media disease. So people trying to okay, they're really afraid of this deadly tiny thing. So whatever thing that could make them feel a little bit comfortable, they would just catch up that news. So I mean, it hasn't been proved yet, but I don't think so. They're still spreading around South Asia, like Singapore. You can see.
Yeah, and thank you for that. Just before we wrap up, I just want to understand this. How is the movement how is the lockdown? What is it that you are able to do, and what is it that you cannot do in Vietnam at this particular point in time? How deep is this lockdown now? Because, well, I know in other countries, the lockdown restrictions have been, relaxed a little bit. How is Vietnam as it stands?
Well, it was not a really lockdown, it's just a totally quarantine for the whole community. I mean, the whole community here is a whole country. So the government just declared, okay, I will shut down completely the whole community, but still people can go out and do whatever they want. But all the unnecessary businesses has to be closed down without any refund or any payment from the government. But they still have to be shut down the whole businesses, because you know what, no freedom of press mean there's nothing to crisis, and everyone just follow, because as long as the case started to decline, they will be actually reopened again. And the earlier the case slow down, the earlier they can reopen the business. So it's okay to listen to the whole government, because they actually do whatever is good for the citizen.
Wow, beautiful. Do Huu, please, may you also advise us on what is your take on, because we have seen in our TV screens, on the internet and everywhere, the racism that has been done by your neighbors, that is China, against Africans. What has been your take? What has been the talk around that in Asia? And what is your personal take as the youth and you as a young person in Vietnam and in Asia?
Yeah, I mean, racism has happened around the world. It has an older time before this unprecedented things. It's also happened, but you know, and not everywhere is racism. Not everyone is racism. Yeah, there's still some racism inside some of the developing country. But the thing is, people getting really surprised when they come to some developed country and they met those behavior far in the West, in those developed nations. So the thing is, because we have known it in a very in a very, you know, it's not the both side of looking at it. I think most of us, I knew racism happened by using media. So I mean, I'm just looking from the media, and I don't know, okay, is that true or not? Is they making up, or they overreacting or not? Whatever happened before that racism, I just don't know. So I mean, racism happened for everyone. It's just you get used to that, and maybe you watch news and okay, I feel sympathize. But when I see that happen for me, real world, in real life, I would step back and say, okay, what did I do wrong, or that people just racism. I would say, okay, that's just people. One person just passed through our life. It's nothing happened, because as people just say that cheaters happen when people cannot reach your level.
I understand. Do Huu, thank you so much. Loyo ngu-Do Huu Truong, obuya khona enarheni laphayana ye-Vietnam, ekunguye nesikhuluma naye ngalesi sikhathi senza bonyana sifumane bonyana abantu abatsha benza njani bonyana bahone ukwazi ukuthi baqalane ne-COVID-19. Sifunyana bonyana enarheni ye-Vietnam akekho namunye ohlongakeleko, lokho kuthi ukuthi naxa ikhulumako uthi ezinye izinto ezikhulunywako la kwela kwethu e-Afrika abaziboni kuliqiniso, ngoba nakubona baseduze nenarha ye-China, kodwana akukenzeki lutho bonyana bathole laphanyana ukuthi kube nomuntu ohlongakeleko. Namhlanje kungu-April aphela usihlabantangana kuzi-26 zikasihlabantangana u-April. Not